Hey everybody, welcome back to the Workbench. You know who this is, and it's time for another update video on some projects that I'm working on. I got a lot of overflow of things, and I got a bunch of customer projects I've been knocking out. A couple that I'll show in this video, and I got a couple other sneak peek projects that I'll show, some tank cars and things like that. First thing I want to get out of the way here, a couple of you have been asking me why I haven't been posting too much in terms of actual finished projects and stuff, and a couple people have actually been getting on me about that, and the reason being because I've been taking on so many complex projects and really hard weathering projects, really hard locomotive detailing projects, custom paint jobs, stuff like that. I've really been trying to nail down on the big projects, and one of the downsides with that is that it takes me a lot of time to do this stuff. I don't have infinite time to work on models, so it's hard to get even a model or two out of the way. It takes time, and so I just haven't been posting as much, but I'm going to try to fix that because I got some projects coming up that are just about done, so I can start posting pictures and videos again and stuff. And I got some more how-tos coming up. The big thing I've been working on and I've been getting asked about a lot is some SD40M-2s, and I'll just go ahead and throw these in this video real fast as a sneak peek. I've been working on two currently. This is a pair of SD40M-2s modeled present day for Union Pacific. Both of these locomotives are NRAX locomotives now. We have Union Pacific 2723 and 2738. One is an SD40, one is an SD45. On these locomotives, they've required quite a bit of modeling because there's really no accurate base model of an SD40 to model an SD40M-2. So both of these have gone through a lot of work. The SD45 is 2738, and I've done quite a bit of heavy modification and rebuilding to the radiators, the front, all kinds of internal modifications and upgrades, all kinds of detail changes, things like that. The 2723 is the most complete. This is a completely stripped down and custom painted SD40 that I've done up with all kinds of modifications, and you can see it's just about done on one side only. On the other side I still got to add all the rust, but I've done quite a bit of work to these so far, so these are going to be fun to show, but I'm going to show them a little bit more later on once they're actually completed. This one's got to get sent off to get ditch lights. This one's got to get finished up too, so we'll see how they look in the next update video, and maybe I'll be able to bring them back and show them, but that's just a sneak peek of those for now. The next couple projects I've been working on are mine, and they're pieces of rolling stock. I've been working on doing some corn syrup tank cars, and these first two that I have are Atlas Modern ADM corn syrup cars, and I've been trying some new weathering techniques on these. First off, with these, what I did was I faded the black down to white with a heavy acrylic wash, and then a little bit of airbrush work to dull them down. And then, if you can see, I did the fine streaking, the white streaking that you see on these heavily faded tank cars. That's a new technique that I recently learned that I've been trying with some paint thinner and oil paints. I'll demonstrate how to do that later on in an upcoming how-to video, but that's been an interesting technique I've been trying on these tank cars. So all of these have a heavy grime coat on the top. The logos are a little bit faded. I got the safety stripe placement and some prototype patching where needed. They got powder work, new couplers added, whole 9 yards on these, and then you can see all the kick-up spray and everything I did on them, and then there's the nice weathering on the trucks with the powders and acrylics. There's a nice look at that kick-up spray on the ends. Pretty much both of these are the same in terms of that style of weathering. There's the side of this one, the 16724, and then the 16750 has some prototype graffiti that I added to it. So it's got some small tags and things like that where needed, and then the logo's a little bit more beat up on this one. And then on this side, there's that prototype graffiti, the prototype patching, and then again all that nice kick-up spray and underbody weathering. That's on the real prototype. And then this one has the slight bit of corn syrup spillage at the top too, because these get pretty messy. And then all that white speckly stuff you see on the top is just dust, so just try to ignore that. But that's the first two corn syrup cars I've done by Atlas, and they turned out really good. I'm really happy with those. Next car I got is another ADM corn syrup tank car, but another variation of one. This is the Intermountain 19,000 gallon tank car, and this is the first one I bought. This one needed a little bit of work, even though it was brand new, because the photo etch parts on these are very weak. All this is photo etch. All these details are photo etch. None of it's like brass wire or steel wire, so I had to carefully reshape the wiring on the top, realign the handrails. But again, it's pretty much the same weathering style as on my Atlas tank cars with the heavy washes, fading, streaking. This one's got some patching where the old safety stripe was removed and the new was added as these things peel off and fade. It's got some prototype graffiti, heavy weathering on the trucks, underbody kick-up, heavy grime weathering on the top. Around the hatch you got the corn syrup spillage, the whole 9 yards there. And then on this side, pretty much the same, but basically models a modern in-service tank car with all the grime and heavy washes. On the top here, again, I did the not only the corn syrup spillage, but I also modeled the anti-skid coating that's on the top, that gray paint, and then I replaced the KD couplers as well. They're good tank cars, like I said, but they just need work out of the box because I absolutely hate these photo etched handrails. They're kind of junk. And then the last one here is a PRGX car modeled for Modern Chemical Service. Again, this one is just heavily faded. Got some custom patching, weathering, fading, all that dust at the top. Just ignore that. Added the new couplers. Whoops. And then you can see that patching, the kick-up spray, all that updated hazmat information. And then on this side we have the same thing. But I like these cars. Again, against my opinion on those photo etch parts, they're good cars and they do weather up real nice. So there's a pair of tank cars I've been working on here. We'll move on to some other projects here. You guys will recognize these cars from the last couple videos. I was working on the 2 cars for a gentleman who wanted some how-to videos on how I weathered his particular car, so I actually filmed the process of weathering these cars. I'll be showing the hopper next, but this is the box car I did for him, NS655888. This has prototype fading, prototype graffiti, patching, everything. This one turned out really good and I was really happy with this one. You can see one side has got the graffiti, the other side has got the red fade. Really showcasing the red fade here. I had to do this with some airbrush work, fading the car in white first, and then I used brush effects and washes to get that nice bright red color back on the car body, but still making it look faded. On the top I used some rust pitting techniques and effects to do that, and it turned out really good. And then again, prototype safety stripe placement where needed, and I weathered the trucks, couplers, all that good stuff. The hopper car is the other car, and again, these are pretty much done. You guys can again check out the videos if you want. The hopper car was really fun to do. I had a lot of fun doing this, but this one has the prototype patching. It has safety striping. We got the graffiti and everything else on there. Looks really good, and you can see all the fine rust streaks, grain, salt spillage rather, all that. There's the Richmond Fredericks of Potomac placard. This is one of the few cars that actually had the placard, so I like to I really tried to get this beat up, made it look nice, and it turned out good. The roof walks and hatches all came out really good. You can see all that nice effect. And I'm just brushing over these again. If you guys really want to see how I did all this, you can go back and watch the latest how-to weathering videos on my channel to see how I actually weather these 2 cars. But that's them together again for the last time on my bench. Tomorrow I'm going to be shipping these out. They're going to be going home and out of my site. So that's the 2 cars I've been working on for a customer. I got a couple more customer projects I got to do for different people, so you guys can stay tuned for more. I'll be definitely doing some more customer projects because I got quite a few lined up. I actually got, I think, 25 cars I got to do, but these are the first 2 I've done in quite a while because I just haven't had time. This next car is one I just got, and this was actually given to me by a friend. I did not ask for it, but he sent it to me and said I could have it, and so I did my best to weather it. This is based on a couple different prototypes I found pictures of on the internet because I couldn't find the original number, but I did my best to model it as prototypically as possible to similar cars in this class of boxcar series. This is an Athearn OTR boxcar with a lot of weathering, Union Pacific boxcar. The first thing I did on this was I did the white fade to get the car nicely faded down. Then I went in and started adding a basic wash of grime and everything else. Then I did a layer of graffiti on both sides, and then I followed behind with some oils and powders, did a lot of fine streaking and rust. And I'll actually take the camera off the tripod here so we can get nice and close because there's a lot to be seen on this car, but you can see all of the fine rust, all of the graffiti work that turned out really good on this. You can see the beat up logo. There's a little bit of pitting and scratching on the side, some paint discoloration, new data, new safety striping was added there. There's the doors with some old graffiti, a lot of rust, and then here's this side with the white patching. The patching is different on both sides of this car, as you'll see, but this side came out really good. I tried to do some washes with the patching to make it look like it was sprayed on with a rattle can, and it turned out really good. And then I just did some stencil decals to make it look like stencil lettering. And then again, there's that look at the graffiti. Got all the scratches, prototype, patches and everything like that. Like I said, I used quite a few different cars to get all the graffiti data and everything combined together, but it turned out really good. It's an effective looking car. On the ends, I added the safety striping there because Union Pacific always adds the safety stripes to the ends now. Painted the placard board. I added the custom air hoses, custom coupler cut bars, There's the prototype graffiti with some of the rust streaking on the ends. And then on this side of the car we have some more prototype graffiti. Lots of different prototype graffiti done with some various effects. There's all the fine rust streaking, patching, safety striping, everything else. It's a real mess. There's some patching on that door. Lots of good rust. Lots of grimy, patchy rust. Some streaking coming down from the door track. The beat up Union Pacific logo, the new data, safety striping, all that. This one really came out good. I really like it. And then the roof also came out really good. This was done with oil effects. First I did a layer of burnt umber acrylic and black acrylic layered upon each other to get the depth of the rust. Then I followed behind with burnt umber oils, spread that out in basically a wash around these rust pits, and then I followed behind with some raw sienna to make it look like fresher rust. And the effect turned out really good. I'm really happy with this one. So that's the Union Pacific 1704-22. That's been one of my big project cars lately. I'm really happy I got this one done because it looks really good. Okay guys, so to wrap up this video, I got one more car, and it's actually one of the first Scale Trains covered hoppers I've weathered up. This one was especially special because I wanted to do some really cool graffiti on it, and I found a really cool prototype and I decided to model it, and it turned out really good. So this is AOK 66708. This is Scale Trains Gunderson covered hopper. With this one I modeled it as it appears currently. I lightly faded the car down. I did some underbody work, a lot of grime work, so you can see on the underbody I did a lot of washes with oils and acrylic, and I got the kick-up spray just starting to spray up on the bays. The trucks are nicely weathered. You can see the Scale Trains trucks just turn out really good when you weather them too, because they got all that nice printing, and then they got the spinning bearing caps, so they look really good. So I did the acrylic work on that, weathered up the couplers. You got the kick-up spray on the ends with all of that splatter. Take a look at that. Pretty nice, huh? On the opposite side here, again the same. This one has the kick-up spray. Got the stock couplers. I forgot to change the couplers on it. That's the only other thing. I got to do modify up a pair of low shelf couplers for this car. That's the only other thing I got to do to it. But looking at the side, I did some prototype graffiti, and then I did all of the heavy black streaking from the grain spillage, streaking down the sides, and I darkened the ribs. I added some scratches to the sides, and then I got the prototype graffiti here, which is all done from various photos. I combined the work here. If any of you watch the show Mr. Pickles, I'm a big fan of Mr. Pickles, and I wanted to do a tribute car to Mr. Pickles. So I took some tags, combined them together, and did basically a Mr. Pickles emblem here. So it's got the hilly backdrop, some small personal tags, the first tag here, and then I did the patch data where they re-lettered the car from the graffiti. You can see I did like a overspray effect on the numbers, and I did some stencil lettering there too, which is pretty cool. Got the new data added. I got the patch out there, and then they added the new safety striping. You can see all the fine detail work I did on this. It just came out really good. It's all done with fine brushes and acrylic. And then here's the other tag with the patched out data. All this came out really good. This took, I think, I want to say 14 hours to do in total. It was a lot of work. And then you got some of the small personal tags on this end too. But this was a big project car I tackled really a couple months ago. I was finishing it up kind of around the end of the year, and I got it done, and it looks really good. On the top here I got the weathered up roof walk with a lot of that grain spillage. You can see the walkway's got a white fade to it that's starting to chip. You can see the heavy grime on the roof walk. Then on the opposite side, it's done pretty simple, just more of a showcase on the fading, and then a lot of that streaking coming down the sides, and then you got some small graffiti tags and things like that here. But again, a nice moderately weathered car with some really kick-ass looking graffiti, and I'm really happy with this one. And no, it's not for sale. It's going to be staying with me. Cars like this I generally want to keep because of the amount of work I put into them. It's just not worth even trying to sell because I'd never get the investment back. With the amount of hours I've put into this thing, it'd be worth just too much to even sell, so I'm not going to be selling it. It's going to be staying in my personal collection. But that's the AOK 66708 and the last car we're going to be looking at for this video. In the meantime, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for keeping up with my work and my projects. I hope to have another update video coming up soon, and I got a couple how-to videos lined up here, so you guys can stay tuned for that. Subscribe here on YouTube for more. Follow my work on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook page is Dan's Custom Trains, and my Instagram is Danny Dankinson. That is all lowercase. And again, I always post pictures of my projects that I'm working on for myself and for other people, so you can follow me there. In the meantime, like I said, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Okay, take it easy.